Hello. Today I wanted to talk about season 10 of Doctor Who. Now I only started watching Doctor Who like really about with season 1. I started watching with Christopher Eccleston. Now before that, when I was younger, we had a VHS of, I think it's Planet of Fire with Peter Davison, the Fifth Doctor. And I'd seen that, and that was always, I always thought that was pretty cool. But eventually they came out with this new Doctor Who, as obviously starring Christopher Eccleston, and I started watching from there. I really enjoyed the Russell T Davies run of Doctor Who. I enjoyed, so I guess seasons 1 to 4, of Christopher Eccleston and David Tennant. And then when things switched over to Stephen Moffat and you had Matt Smith as the new Doctor, I didn't really enjoy the show as much as I did. I didn't like the direction Moffat was taking it. I didn't really enjoy Matt Smith as the Doctor. Now he did start to grow on me a little bit more once he started doing stuff with, once they started bringing in Clara as a companion instead of Amy and Rory. And I did enjoy his, like, the final 3 arc he had with Name of the Doctor, Day of the Doctor, and Time of the Doctor. Day of the Doctor, of course, being the 50th anniversary special. And then everything changed again a little bit once Matt Smith, of course, regenerated into Peter Capaldi. And I did enjoy his Doctor a little bit more, but I still think in that the direction Moffat takes this and the stories and the writing, it's just hasn't been to my liking. So I was kind of intrigued to find out that someone else was stepping in to take over, so to speak. Well, yeah, they are getting a new showrunner. I can't recall his name off the top of my head, but they're replacing Stephen Moffat and they're getting a new Doctor, and be the 13th Doctor. So I was intrigued, because I'll admit, the first season of Peter Capaldi, it kind of put me off Doctor Who. After watching that season, I kind of took a break from Doctor Who, because I wasn't really pleased with how they handled Missy, the Master. So I kind of went away for a while and caught back up later, because Peter Capaldi had a whole year break without a season. So then they had this 10th season. I'm pretty sure I went into this watching knowing that it was his last season as a Doctor. So overall, I enjoyed the season. I think it was definitely his best season as the Doctor, and I also think it might be the best season of Moffat's run as showrunner. Episodes that stand out to me, I enjoyed, I think it was Extremis, however you pronounce it. I enjoyed that episode a lot. I thought that was very good. That kind of reminded me of some good Russell T Davies era episodes. Kind of reminded me of Blink a little bit. Kind of reminded me of Midnight. Sort of these high concept episodes that I've always been a fan of. The Oxygen was good too. Oxygen was another concept that I really enjoyed, but it came across as kind of forgettable I didn't care for the pilot much. I didn't really care for Knock Knock that much either. And the one on Mars and the Romans, those were just completely forgettable for me. And I thought the whole stuff with the monks, I thought that was interesting because like they had a two-parter. I don't remember the names of the episodes, but I know they had a two-parter as the villains, and they just didn't interest me as a villain much. They didn't grab my attention. I know sometimes it might seem like it's tough for them to come up with new villains or enemies for them to fight. You know, they seem to rely on the classic villains a lot. You know, always bringing some back. Of course, they've always had the Daleks and the Cybermen and the Master, and they brought back the Silurians and the Zygons and whatever else. It seems like they've, I mean, in my opinion, it seems like they've kind of had some hard times introducing new monsters, new enemies, or whatever you want to call them, that would last, be good for multiple seasons. They did introduce the Weeping Angels in Blink, which is arguably the best episode of Doctor Who, in my opinion, of the ones that I've seen, because I haven't gone back and watched any of the old Doctor Who. I know I probably should do that, but it doesn't really interest me yet. And I think, again, in Moffat's run, they kind of ruined the Weeping Angels for me. That they stopped becoming. They were scarier what they were, and now they're just like snapping people's necks and stuff, and it's not. It didn't seem as scary to me anymore. And then they also had the Silence, which I thought was an interesting concept, the way they are, but still didn't do much for me. So the monks, disappointed too. But I guess the main thing I wanted to talk about was the finale. It's Return of the Cybermen again. And also Bill was okay as the companion, but I actually really did enjoy Nardal, or however you're supposed to pronounce his name. I really liked him as a companion. I thought he brought interesting dynamic to this story, and I don't think we're gonna see him again, but I would like to see him come back as a companion for whoever this next Doctor is. So back to the finale. I honestly I don't remember the titles of those episodes either. I guess if I don't remember the title, the episode doesn't thrill me much. I think the last one was The Doctor Falls, but so of course the big thing about the finale, and I'm just gonna let this fly over me, honestly. I don't really think it matters. And so the big thing about the finale was John Simm returning as the Master. And of course, also this version of the Master interacting with Michelle Gomez's version of the Master, which Michelle Gomez did actually grow on me as Missy the Master. Towards her second season, she had the little bit early on with the Daleks, and she grew on me a little bit more there. And she started to grow on me more this season too. I think most of what I wanted to talk about would be John Simm coming back as the Master, because that was something that I was really looking forward to. I had enjoyed John Simm as the Master a lot. I really enjoyed how well he worked with David Tennant, and I was looking forward to him working with Peter Capaldi, but watching it now, I kind of see that they didn't bring back his master. They just brought back a version of the master. I would have been better off if you had just found someone new to play a younger version of the master. You know, early master, like just get someone else to play a young master who we haven't seen before. Kind of like how they did with John Hurt as the War Doctor. Because John Simm just didn't seem like the master that we saw in The End of Time. Because he just seemed like the stereotypical master, how you would imagine him in the old Doctor Who. All the stuff he did about how he kind of sacrificed himself for the 10th Doctor, David Tennant, that doesn't come into play here. And then the whole thing about the Time Lords, like, curing the drums and letting him go. I don't understand why they would do that. Because we met Rassilon, we saw what he was like in End of Time, and we saw what he was like in Heaven Sent, I think it's either Hellbent or Heaven Sent. It's one of those two. We saw Rassilon, we saw what he was like, and I really don't believe that that character would just let the Master go, especially when we assume that Rassilon regenerated because of the Master. The Master foiled his plans, so I don't see why they would just help him and then kick him off the planet. And also, it implies the Master has a TARDIS. I don't know why that hasn't come up with Michelle Gomez's version of the Doctor, because we assume that he regenerates into Michelle Gomez. That's what he was talking about, but she's kind of iffy. I think they did that because they might want to squeeze a version of the Master in between John Simm and Michelle Gomez. It's probably what they are maybe thinking about doing. He just didn't seem like his Master. His Master always seemed more crazy, like unstable. This guy, the way he was playing it this time was more like more calculating, more menacing, more of like a stereotypical villain almost. And I think it was really it almost wasn't about his Master. It was about just having another Master there to be somewhat of a foil to Missy, who's going through this whole redemption arc. And of course, they do, Missy's dead again. She's already died once. John Simm's died twice. So I understand why they killed her off. I 100% believe we're going to see the Master again, returning in some shape or form. But I understand they had to kill her off because she had decided to leave the show. And the Master isn't a character that they're gonna. I don't think they're gonna go forward with a lot more in this new season. So I guess they didn't want to hire somebody new to play the Master, and then have this person attached. Maybe this, like kind of like waiting to come back on the show. Like maybe by the time he actually wants to come back on, you can't get him on because of schedule or whatever. But the whole thing, I just don't buy that the Master's dead, because honestly, the Master can remember about carrying this Matrix thing on him the entire time. Surely the Master would think like, oh, I just killed myself, I gotta find a way to make sure that I don't actually die when I kill myself. It's weird. It's a weird thing to say. might not be the best way to say it. But I just don't buy it. That's like killing off the Daleks and saying we're never going to see him again. We're going to see the Master again. It's interesting to think about, though, is it's kind of been like he only visits like the Master only attacks even number doctors or something, because he fought Paul McGann, then David Tennant, and then Peter Capaldi, skipping over Eccleston and Smith in the middle. So maybe he won't fight this 13th Doctor, but the 14th Doctor and the 16th Doctor, they'll fight the Master. Or team up with the Master, maybe. Probably fight the Master, because I think all this redemption arc is just going to be thrown away. Kind of like it was with John Simm's Master. And, yeah. And so, there was also the first Doctor, showed up towards the end there. That was kind of rumored for a while. And I thought that he was going to have a bigger part in this. I guess it turns out that he has a big part in the Christmas special this year, and rumors of that bled into this, and we probably shouldn't have known about this. Which is interesting, considering he was talking about how we're not going to get another Doctor team-up episode after the 50th, because he doesn't want to spoil us, but here we are getting another Doctor team-up thing. I thought about it, and they're always so set on having multiple Doctors all the time. I don't know why you can't get, like, more companions showing up. 'Cause you got a lot of companions who could return for, even a little bit. Well, not a lot, actually. I mean, if you think about it, they could bring... The only companions that they could really bring back are Mickey, Martha, Jack, and Clara. Because everyone else is either, like, dead or in a parallel dimension or can't remember him. So... But I'm always surprised how they haven't brought back Captain Jack yet. Like, that really surprises me. And of course, he's started regenerating, so we're gonna get the new Doctor in the Christmas special, the 13th Doctor. By the time I'm making this, I have no idea who it's gonna be, and we probably won't know for a couple months at least. I have no preference really at this point. I'm kind of over Doctor Who a little bit. I'll keep watching, see if I like this new person. I hope I do. There's been a lot of rumors. I've been looking at the rumors. No, none of these rumors I really take with. I take all these rumors with a grain of salt. I've never seen someone say like, okay, this is probably what it's gonna be. But also, I don't remember hearing Peter Capaldi's name come up a lot when it was announced that Matt Smith was going to leave. So maybe it's someone we're not even considering. And there's always the option of the Doctor regenerating into a woman this time. Which still, I don't know. But at this point, I would be surprised if the Doctor doesn't regenerate into a woman. If the Doctor regenerates into just another man, I'd be very surprised. I know the internet would throw a fit if that happened, because Tumblr and whatnot, they want a female Doctor. I mean, I don't really care. As long as all I care about at this point is just good writing. I am really glad that Matt Smith didn't regenerate into a female Doctor, because with Moffat's writing, I don't know if I could have dealt with that. That would have been very annoying to me, in my opinion. I really couldn't stand Matt Smith's Doctor, and I'm glad with this direction that they took the Doctor, at least, with Peter Capaldi. So, I mean, like I said, I have no idea who they're gonna get. I have no preference. I would be very surprised if the Doctor regenerated into another man. I just don't think that's what they're gonna do. But I guess we're gonna find out in December when the Christmas special comes out. I don't know if I'm gonna do a review about it or not. I'll have to wait and see the episode and decide if it's something I really want to talk about. But I guess I'll see what happens.